Sit down. Hello, Rob.
All right, buddy.
Okay, my name is Rhys Jones. I'm here to interview you about your battle with cancer. I'm from the TV series Why You Should Not Be Afraid Of. This is a show where we tell the public about scary situations and trying to put their mind at ease and help them how they deal with scary situations in life. So I want to ask you about your battle with cancer. Can you please tell me how you would, if someone was diagnosed with cancer, how would you tell them, what advice would you give the person?
Trying to deal with it. It's kind of like I said in the previous video. It's an emotional on its own, and you just do it. I mean, is it a strength? Is it an energy that we have, or you just do it? You know, I was in tears one night, having the heebie-jeebies and the fever, and I thought it was just one night, and I sat there with my mum, and she turned around to me, and I was in tears, I think, and I said, well, why have I got this? Why am I going through this? And her answer was just because you can handle it, and I kind of laugh about that now, because I only found that out a few weeks ago. That's what that's what she said. And I apparently turned around and said, I suppose I can. And they say that you're never given more than you can actually deal with, even though you think, another little bit more and I'm just going to go over the edge. But you deal with it, and you use whatever you can to deal with it. If sitting in a room for 20 minutes listening to Elton John helps you, if holding a cat helps you, if stroking a dog, if being with your friends, if riding a motorbike helps you deal with it, if talking, if watching videos. I watched a lot of comedies, and would sit there and watch old comedies, Richard Pryor on stage, and it was just trying to laugh. And I remember when I was in hospital one day, and I had the laptop with a DVD, and I was watching Reach for the Skies with Douglas Bader, and it was, you have to think you're going to live. You always think this isn't going to kill you. Yeah, it might have killed millions of other people, but yours is not going to kill you. And you cannot allow yourself to think that it's ever going to do anything else, but you are going to survive. Even though there is things that, it doesn't work, chemo don't work for everyone, and that was a risk as well. That even though it's a 94% cure rate, you're still thinking, well, that's 6% of people that die of testicular cancer. So that's always in there, but you try not to dwell on that. You think of the positive. You think of the Lance Armstrongs. You think of all the hundreds of thousands of people who've gone through exactly the same thing and survived it. And my friend let go the other day that she had it 15 years ago, and I've known her 6 or 7 years. I never knew she had it. I never knew she'd gone through it, and it was really strange to suddenly realise that when I used to go and talk to her about it, she knew, and she never let on, which was very strange. All these years of talking to her, she knew exactly what I was going through.
So imagine if someone has just been diagnosed with cancer. I mean, what approach would you suggest on telling their friends and family about? Recording.
I don't think there's an approach, as maybe written in a book. I don't think there's an approach. I think it depends on how well you know that person to how you can tell them. I told my friend Caroline. She said, have you been in for your lump? I said, yeah. Oh, you know what it is? Yeah, what is it? I said, it's cancer. And she's like, don't be silly. Come on, Rob. No, seriously. I said, yeah, it's cancer. I don't believe you, she's going, because I'd always play pranks. I'm quite a jokey sort of guy. She's like, no, honestly. I said, yeah, honestly. And I think it upset her that I kind of told her that. But that's just what I'm like. You just tell people. And for people who maybe don't know how to react with that person with cancer, just ask them, Ask them, how are you feeling, How do you feel about it? And don't be afraid to say, well, I feel this about you having cancer. And I used to speak about that quite a lot, about I used to ask people how was it affecting them. I can sit here with my cancer and I can see how what it's doing to me physically and mentally, but I couldn't see what people were going through. And I used to ask them, how do you feel about it? Obviously, because we could all get it, and I just used to ask them. But I don't think there's an approach. I think you maybe sometimes have to be a bit more tactful with saying how it is, but don't ever fear the approach of saying to someone, "You got cancer."
Okay. Just pause that. So imagine if I've just been diagnosed with testicular cancer. What should I expect of the treatment?
Well, first off, treatment-wise, it's one of the most treatable cancers. I remember Debbie, my nurse, she rang me up and she said, you don't know how lucky you are. We're going to cut your testicle off on March the 10th, but you're so lucky. And now I think, God, yeah, I am lucky, because it's one of the most treatable cancers. And your treatment could be just, I mean, they'll take a blood test, which is just a normal blood test, and they'll test for the traces that are in the blood. If your traces are high, like mine were, they don't do biopsies of the testy or anything like that. They just literally cut it off. You go in and you're in and out in a day. And that's, like I said, an incision up here, where they pull it out, and they take a couple of lymph nodes out that are there as well. Well, that's what they did with me. And many people, that's it. That's as far as their cancer goes. I got over my cancer, was back... did I take my stitches out? Yeah, I think I took my own stitches out. I had internals and externals. No, annoying me, so I just took them out myself. So I got over that, hanging from the banister to stretch the muscles and that. Because I was so fit, they had to cut all the muscles. And you just sort of that was my side of it. And then they watch you like a hawk. I think I was in every week for blood tests, obviously to see the traces again. I had x-rays every week, I think, and then every 2 weeks I went in for a CT scan, which is quite interesting. That was because it was a novelty being able to keep my trousers on, which was quite amusing, because everybody I met I seemed to drop my trousers to, which you get quite used to. You think, oh, you're meeting strangers all the time, and you just get your bits out and let them have a grope and a play, and it's quite embarrassing. But after you've done it 3 or 4 times, and you look at it, well, this is the means to an end. This is, I do this because I want to live, and that's how you look at it. And you just get used to it. Hello, Mr. Stott, how are you? Just drop your trousers and hop on the couch, and you just get on with it and deal with it. The emotion side of it, they're there to do a job. They must see hundreds of them a day, as it were. And that was the treatment I had. And then I went in for a CT scan, and you lie in this thing, and this big round thing, and you slide through it, and they give you a dye through an IV line, and it makes it feel like you've wet yourself. It really does. Have you ever had the dream when you're dreaming that you're weeing yourself in your dream, and you wake up and you have wet yourself? It's very much like that, and it's very difficult not to go, I'm wetting myself, because it suddenly feels like this, like you're wetting yourself in your genital area, and then you can feel it travelling all the way through your body, and you go bright red, and then they do a